Just because you said it, Joe? It's real. I get the plug.
He's like, shut up, nerd. Shut up, you fucking nerds.
Gotta come back, boys.
Oh, October 7th? Really?
Wait, is it just the vice presidents or is it both?
Oh, is he talking shit, you think?
No, I don't think so.
Give him the PowerPoint.
So, do they have any more debates, or is it just the
Yeah,
vice?
Yeah,
two
there's
more.
2 more. It's 2 more.
Oh, okay, good.
And then the vice presidents have 2 debates, right? Is that what it is?
I don't
Oh,
know.
look at his wife.
I don't
Look
think-
at Trump's
Did
wife.
you just hear what this fucking lady said?
No.
I muted it.
As Joe Biden said, the worst president we've ever had.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna
Yeah.
cut it off at the end of the debate there.
Yeah.
So what's your final thoughts, boys? What do you have any like hot takes, analyses? Who do you think won? Who do you think did better? Did DJ Trump handle himself well? Did Sleepy Joe Biden stay awake?
Go ahead, Dan.
Okay. I thought Joe Biden did fine, and like I said in the beginning, I believe they're going to say this is a victory.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they're going to call it as mainstream media. Fox News and everybody else will say it was a disaster for Joe, but I think anyone who watched that could honestly say at least Joe Biden stuck to the talking points like he did. He was somewhat clear. You could understand what he was kind of talking about.
Kind of.
I mean,
He spoke very vaguely.
well, that's the politician polish. You know, that's what they do. They don't speak in absolutes. Trump at least is very consistent and speaks in absolutes. He's an absolutist. He's like, this is what I believe. This is what's wrong. I do think the biggest fuck up, Ryan, you called it earlier, was not just coming out and denouncing. Say, like, basically he should have like fuck white supremacists and then just moved on.
Well, he kind of did, and then.
Well,
yeah,
I mean-
he could have got away with it because he could have just said it, and the Proud Boys wouldn't have been brought up.
Well, he did say sure, but it was very quiet. You're not gonna. That's not a declination, or a declaration of like, hey, I actually. But this is the thing. He's already done it. But I do think this was his opportunity to do it again.
Yeah, with no mistakes, no equivocation. Just be like, I
I
reject.
think that's kind of why Chris Wallace even had that question.
Of
But
course,
he
it's a little bit.
That was
it-
the easiest question of the night, by far.
Yeah, I mean, I think I agree with you guys. I think that is the biggest gaffe for Trump. I don't know why. I don't know why
Yeah,
he
it's pressure.
he does the
Pressure.
same. He's doing the same thing that Biden's doing when they play these games with these extremist groups or these ideological leanings, people that are sympathetic to them, where they don't want to just like come out and say like, no, that's wrong. Like I disagree with it,
Well,
and I don't. They play the same shit because he does. But Biden did the same thing, and then Biden actually repeated like a talking point to run interference for like groups like Antifa. Where Antifa is an idea; it's not an organization. It's like no, they're not like organized in the sense they're a national organization, but they have individual cells and they operate and they do communicate to a large degree. That's why the same people show up in all of these different cities.
Yeah.
You know, like there is
But-
clearly there's clearly forms of organization. But anyways, I think they both have that, but Trump's going to be the one that gets fucked on that. It's like they're not going to pull that sound clip from Joe Biden and say Joe Biden refuses to acknowledge the existence of something. They're not going to.
Yeah, I don't understand why the narrator would go after Trump on some things, but Joe would like, I forget what he asked Joe, and Joe said like this super broad question, and then that was just like the end of it, and it was like, what? Like he didn't even answer the question. I'll
Well,
have to go back and rewatch it, but
He went on for like 6 straight minutes.
yeah,
It
I mean,
seemed
I
at
feel
the
like
end
that
there.
narrator
Well,
wasn't fair.
Moderator, yeah, the moderator definitely
Moderator,
was.
yeah.
Yeah, I think overall Trump handled it better, but Trump does come off, he is a bullish, brash guy, like, talking over him and stuff. Joe Biden did it too, but I think Trump started that trend in the debate.
He did.
But this
Joe
is the
Biden called him a racist.
yeah, very underhandedly because I missed it.
Yeah, he did it while Trump was talking. So he said, "You're a racist." Like, when they were talking about the critical race theory stuff.
Yeah.
Because they want to recontextualize it, and the problem with that shit is like Trump doesn't articulate it very well because I don't. It's a hard thing to articulate in general.
Well,
Well,
it's
it's
so
hard to
loaded.
it's hard to articulate in 2 minutes.
Well,
Like,
no, just to
you're
say
not
like
gonna be able
what
to
is
do that.
what is the log line of like what critical race theory represents?
Yeah.
That's really hard. There's people that literally that's all they do. If you look
And
at James Lindsay and Helen
it's
Pluckrose, they could do it in a tweet, but
yeah.
like the president clearly
It's not,
can't.
But
yeah.
people don't
Well,
know what the fuck critical race theory is. So
but
if
like
you're
it
talking
should
about equality and racial equality, and they use critical race theory in the context that it is racial equality and equity, then Trump talking, denouncing it would make him
Yes.
look bad.
Well,
But,
that's
like,
the
so-
thing. They prey on the ignorance of people.
well,
Yeah.
why would they not read the definition of it? Because that's what I had a huge problem with.
Why would they?
They should, because
Well, the
like here is
moderator
the
should've.
definition.
The
Yeah, that's
moderator
what I'm
should've.
saying.
He should have
Just-
said like so they're both on an even playing field and they can either agree with that definition or disagree with it and say why they feel that way.
Yep.
But honestly, I mean, I don't understand this thing with these moderators. Like don't like you act like you're on somebody's side. It's fucking weird. Like you're cackling along with Joe Biden when you don't like something Trump said. Like you're like, dude, fucking chill. Like
No,
you could
this
call
is why
out
we
Trump.
need to move away from this.
You should have called Trump out when he's being a dick, and it's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Just let him talk, and then you'll get to respond. But I don't. The format I thought was weird in general as well. It's like you can't have somebody talk for 2.5 minutes, gish galloping, throwing out 10 different things, 10 different accusations, and then be like, we're moving on. Like that's not fair.
Yeah.
Like
No,
you cannot leave a topic open like that. That's not fucking
Well,
fair.
this is the problem with
It doesn't
with-
make any sense. No debate is ever like that.
Yeah, but that's the problem with this type of format, and this is why it's dying. Is because it's not giving you enough. Like going to Joe Rogan, if they went on Joe Rogan, which Joe Biden would never do, because he would be dismantled. Because Joe Rogan would have Jamie fact checking shit and being like,
No,
"Hey, look
well,
at that."
Shouldn't be doing that. No, because if you're gonna have a debate, like they shouldn't
No.
be having.
No,
Just as much
CBS is doing it right now. They're
just
they
as
did a
much
little
as
fact
CBS
check,
and
like-
CNN should
No.
not be doing that stuff in real time.
No.
Neither should they. Like
No,
wouldn't.
they should. They should, because then in front of everybody in a long form content, not some fucking 2 minute this and that. Like have a conversation, not a debate. I want a conversation between the three of them where they can discuss their ideas. That is a debate.
Sure,
A debate.
well, that's
But
not
like,
that's a
but
conversation.
but if Joe Rogan and Jamie would be able to go, hey Joe, that's a lie. It's a proven fact that like it'd be clear. That's how it needs to be, especially
nothing-
about him.
Nothing would get done. They would never be able to move off the first thing they start talking about.
It
because
doesn't matter.
Yeah, but Sean, nothing got done tonight.
Yeah,
No,
nothing.
well then it would then I guess it doesn't matter then. It just would be self-defeating at some point.
No, it
Like,
wouldn't be self.
And
I
I
feel
don't-
like it would get way
disagree.
more done.
Yeah,
I don't-
way
I don't-
more.
I don't think that Trump is going to look very good if that were the case either. Like it would be a nightmare.
I disagree.
Well,
think
it
he's
would give them an
he's a
opportunity to speak more in depth.
Yeah, like really
Well,
talk. Don't
absolutely.
just use your talking points. Your little got to get this quick 20-second statement
Yeah,
in
but they
and do all.
just yell at each other anyways. They just would talk over each other. I would have no faith in the authority
Yeah,
of Joe
but
Rogan to tell
I
them
do.
to chill.
I do. I
And
do.
that they would
I do
listen?
too.
No,
I
That
no,
they
would.
would listen?
Joe Rogan has held a few debates on his podcast, and he
Sure.
has done
Yeah, with health
fantastic
experts.
job. Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
Twitter.
These people, Twitter, I don't know. Yeah, but like there has been fantastic results from that. There's some of his most viewed stuff
Yeah, but if
is from moderation of
You're
these
also-
ideas.
you're going into these debates with people that are there to like be respectful and have a debate in that fashion.
That's
This is not what's going on with like Biden.
yeah, but they would be put into a different spot where they could sit in a room and talk about their ideas. And I'm sure like Joe would be like, Mr. President, please, like, you're gonna you have play, because the reason why he has to talk over him is because of the limited time. If they could sit there for 5 hours and just go on and do it, like that would be a different way to, I think that is the better way. We need to see this. People want to see these quote unquote leaders of the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, the president, whoever it is, actually have. It probably won't, but Trump might go on.
Yeah, Trump should just go on.
Trump should go on and just have a conversation where he can be fact checked by Joe Rogan. That would be fair.
Do you think Donald Trump would go on it like just him, or would he have somebody there
I think
to keep
he
him in
should.
check?
I think he should.
Like they
and
did
would.
with Twitter.
I think he should go on too.
Yeah, have Tim Pool on. Have Tim Pool on. Have Pacman and or Kolinsky, like another YouTuber guy or somebody.
Well, that would be a lot of people.
Yeah, but at least Tim Pool could bounce questions off of him, and
Yeah, but then
well, then he should just go on the Tim Pool show.
Yeah, I mean, like then you're muddying the waters and even more, and just saying because there's people there with their own ideological biases.
Right, but there is a clear of Tim, who's center left, who used to not support Trump, to supporting Trump, to Kolinsky, who hates Trump. And then you have Joe Rogan, who's kind of a real centrist, I would say, on most things. I think he talks up a lot of things just because of his position. But I think it's one of those things where I know you want to see it. I know you want to see it.
I just want to see him on Joe Rogan because I think Joe Rogan will actually sit there and listen. Trump formulate his thoughts.
I'm not saying that the way that these debates go is necessarily good or even productive. Like, I really don't. I don't think it really moves the needle anymore. Because back 10, 15 years ago, you didn't just have access to these people as much as you do now. Every day, you can hear them talk, you can hear speeches, you can hear whatever. We didn't have that. So the debates were important because you got a sense of who they were as a person and how they would engage with somebody. Now, it doesn't really matter so much anymore. I do the Joe Rogan thing. I think is in theory is interesting, but I also I don't like this idea of just further moving the needle of what the president is and stuff to celebrities. Like that's what it means to me.
What if he just went on Joe Rogan without Joe Biden, like just Trump and Joe?
And that might happen if he loses, honestly.
No, but
before even the election. What would you think of that?
I mean, they could, and then Biden would also. He'd have to offer it to Biden as well, because that's what the rule is.
I want to attack a point real quick. When has a president not been a celebrity? When did that happen? JFK, basically virtually a celebrity.
FDR was probably the first.
FDR, Teddy Roosevelt.
No, they're not celebrities in the same ephemeral way.
Yes, they were. Yes, they were, dude. I've been watching.
No, but were they celebrities before?
No.
If you're going to use the broadest, generalist term of what celebrity means, then sure.
Well, what do you define as a celebrity?
Okay, well, no, what I'm talking about is a celebrity president. Trump was a celebrity prior. I understand that. But I'm talking about as a president, the celebrity president has been around for a long time.
That's because of the invention of the television. That's why that happened. That's why JFK won.
And so that's why Hollywood was successful. I get it.
Okay, Dan. Dan.
But no, don't, because you're interrupting. What I'm saying is, when we have a celebrity president, it's not as platforms evolve, as television evolved, like you said, the next thing is to move to these YouTube platforms and to go do these things to reach more people, to be more personable. Because the whole point of the celebrity president, they don't have any connection to reality, and they're hard to be grounded, which is why having someone like Robert Downey Jr., who I really didn't know, or anybody else he has on, they have these deep, meaningful conversations most of the time. So I think that would be good for any president to be able to come on to something like Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I'm not. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the notion that they couldn't have a one-on-one conversation. It wouldn't be interesting. I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that there is like a psychological paradigm in people's heads of where we're going to move the needle about who we think should and shouldn't be like part of our democratic process, the people that like we're going to endorse to run for president. Because there's a lot of fucking stupid people out there that
So
have just like wide name recognition.
so
that
would
could
you
just
say
as-
Joe Biden then?
Would I say
That's
Joe
why he's
Biden won?
running. So Joe Biden's running based off of name recognition because of
So?
his campaign with Obama. But he's also a 47-year established politician with
So?
way more governing experience. And
Yeah.
by your logic, if I'm following, if I'm tracking correctly, you're saying Joe Biden would be the preferred candidate.
He would
Kind
be
Because
of.
the preferred candidate? No, I'm not saying he'd be the
Well,
preferred candidate.
by his campaign, he doesn't go out and speak to crowds. He doesn't go
Oh
out.
yeah, that's a campaign thing. That's a fucking strategy, and it's working for him. So that's why he
Well,
continues to do it.
well, it's not working, but
It is. I mean, that
no,
dude,
it's
he
not.
should
You
not
can
be.
check the
He should not
polls.
be neck and neck for a dude who hangs out in his fucking basement all day.
You should check the polls. You should check enthusiasm polls and see where the enthusiasm
Damn,
is at like
polls don't
30%.
matter. Nobody
No,
cares.
but
Well,
they do play a role. He's winning in Arizona at 47 to 46%, I believe, is something like that. You know, and all these other states that are battleground states, Florida. It's because and these polls are so wrong, but I do agree. But you can still use them as a measure comparing them to 2016. Trump is gained in every single area, in Hispanics and blacks and fucking Asians and in Indians, Native Americans, and every demographic. White, non-college educated, and college educated whites. He has gained ground. He's still behind in the polls, but from 2016 to now, he's gained. And what I'm saying is, it's because Trump is a real fucking person, and he's not plastic. And it's like, is it because he's a celebrity? I don't think so.
well, listen, it's. I'm not talking about like the general term celebrity. Maybe I misspoke. Maybe it's the wrong word to use. Then I'm just saying like, in general, for whatever reason, as a culture, as a society, we look at celebrities as if their fucking word matters about things. Like just fucking dummies, just influencers. Like we take them more seriously than we take the average person. I would say like when you start mixing those type of things, I'm not sure what the right term is. Maybe celebrity is the
Yeah,
wrong way to put it.
well, me and Dan talked about that. Remember, Dan, with The Rock?
Yeah.
Well, that is something I would honestly. That's a good because there's been a meme for years that The Rock should run for president.
Yes.
We're gonna fucking manifest this into reality, and then
Yes.
he'll probably fucking win because he's in Rampage. Like,
Yeah, no, but that's not why he would win. It's proven that you can't just win based off of celebritydom. The reason Trump won was not because he was a celebrity. That is not why he won.
well, having your name known globally is certainly helps. Just like that's
No,
why Biden is where he is, like where he
No,
is at this
there's a-
point.
There's a critical difference. Trump said it in the debate tonight. If Elizabeth Warren did not drop out, when she did, he would have lost and Bernie would have won. That is a fucking fact. They know for a fact that she had to drop out. There's a reason why they all had to go and vote and go all in on
Oh.
fucking against Bernie.
Yeah, they had a secret meeting where they literally conspired to get Biden in there.
And-
I mean,
and-
it
but
was
like-
clear as day. They all dropped out within
That's
48
crazy.
hour period.
Yeah. But like there's something that is even more credible here. And what I really think is like Trump had to have good ideas. The American people at the end of the day had to decide whether they liked his ideas or not. And that's what mattered.
Well, I know, but Dan, let's say they had somebody different back in 2016 besides Hillary.
Okay.
Because Hillary is like corrupt, and I mean,
If
there were a lot of
Bernie
people that just
went-
hated Hillary.
If they would have let Bernie, if the DNC didn't fuck over Bernie, like they did, if they would have let Bernie go, I think
Yeah.
Bernie would have won. I do think Bernie probably could have beat Trump.
Possibly. Yeah.
He had a better chance than Hillary Clinton. There was a lot of youth support for Bernie, and then all the Bernie supporters that felt slighted, that they got screwed over, and they weren't like hard towing line Democrats, moved to Trump. That's a fact.
According to
Or they
CBS
didn't vote.
News, Joe
Or they didn't
Biden won the debate.
Yeah,
Oh,
of course.
Yeah.
According to the polls that they took.
I mean, that's, honestly, that's a tough one to even call because I don't know. It was such a mess. It was kind of such a shit show that I can't even say like one person made their point better than the others. I think a lot of that has to do with Trump's behavior. I wish, because if he could just let that fucking dude talk and hang himself and then ask him pointed questions about the vague things he says, because he's good at that when he
yes.
has focus.
But Chris Wallace wouldn't allow those questions.
I know, that's the
also
problem.
true. That's also
Fucking
true. That's
bullshit.
fair. So
Because I was
yeah.
like, I was just like, Joe was saying these broad questions. I'm like, Trump, go after him for this. Why aren't you questioning him on this? Like, what?
And it's these 2-minute, like you got these 2-minute time limits. You got to get out your whole point out and like listen.
Sure,
I
I
think
understand
I personally think Trump handled the questions better. That with actual supportable stuff, like actual supported by facts or supported by at least some sense of relevancy. And you know Joe Biden's struggling when he's like looking in the camera desperately. I'm speaking to the American people because he doesn't even want to debate Trump. He wants the American people to turn on Trump.
However superficial that may be, I'm sure it's effective to people who sympathize with his side.
Do you think tonight, based off of this one debate, that any voters that were going to vote for Trump or that were going to vote for Biden, who polled more votes? Who polled more votes based on tonight?
Nobody.
I don't think anybody did.
Well,
I don't think anybody.
Does it
did.
ever
Hey,
happen?
can I ask you a question?
Well, maybe last year when Trump brought all
Have you
those
guys
rape-
seen any like flags or signs for Joe?
Not in my area, definitely not.
Neither of mine. All
Well, I
I've
have-
ever seen is Trump.
We all live in the Southeast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
not
isn't
very good.
Florida like a state that's in?
Yeah.
Battleground state.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I
but,
never
like,
see anything for Joe.
Well,
And
when
I
you
go
drive
all
down,
over Florida.
do you ever go to Tampa? Did you ever go to Tampa?
I go around Tampa. I don't go to Tampa anymore, but I go to like Orlando, St. Augustine,
Orlando, and
Jacksonville.
you've never seen anything in Orlando? Not one
Not
Joe Biden
nearly
thing?
as much. Not that I can recall. I see Trump everywhere. Like Trump's just people. I don't know.
But even like you go to Orlando and you see Trump flags everywhere.
I see
Like,
more
in
Trump.
Orlando.
Yeah, I see more Trump than I.
Do you
Because like
see
Joe
any Biden?
Joe Biden doesn't have any flags. Like I don't ever. Maybe like a bumper sticker, but like people literally like have flags of Trump in their trucks, on their cars. Like they have the things where they roll up the. It's like crazy. Like
Yeah,
I see
love-
so much Trump stuff. I don't see any Joe. I don't.
Yeah. Maybe we'll start looking for it. Start
I'll
putting that in the
look.
back of your
Well,
head, it's
I've
like-
been looking.
Like if you like, it's a psychological trick. So if you go, hey, I want you for the rest of this week to count every orange car you see, you're gonna start finding orange cars. You just will because you're actively looking for it. So put that in your mind when you go on for a drive. Be like, I'm looking for Joe Biden stuff. I want to see
Yeah, I
Joe
will.
Biden support.
I'll
And
look.
you'll see. I've never seen it in the South personally.
But I just see like Trump flags, like people hanging them on their freaking flagpoles. It's crazy.
Yeah, I saw that in Wyoming. There was a
Like
guy,
everywhere.
big ass American
Well,
flag,
Trump
and then
appeals to
Trump flag.
the
American.
American.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, he appeals to the average American more than Joe Biden does.
I think you're gonna get a little bit more going towards Trump on this one. I do think a very small percentage, like 0.001%, will go, you know what? Joe Biden is just not capable of actually giving me depth to these conversations. These are the same things I've seen over and over again. And like you go watch one Trump rally and it's fun and there's interest. I do think the greatest miscalculation, critical error that Trump made is when they were talking about his rallies. He did not bring up the protests and how they said that that didn't,
Well, he didn't have
spread
to
coronavirus.
because they didn't bring it up.
No, they did because they
They
brought up
didn't-
his rallies. He
No,
should
he
have
could
brought
have
up
used
the
that as
protest.
he could have used it
But-
as a defense.
But
for
they didn't push
rallies
very
themselves.
hard. You know what I mean? They didn't stay on that topic for more than like.
Another big thing that Trump fucked up on, in my opinion, when they said, "Will you tell your supporters to chill out and not commit civil unrest?" Like he should have been more clear on that. I think that would have been the right.
Well,
way
I
to
think part of where Trump's coming from, he doesn't feel the need that he has to answer
Well,
that question
yeah,
because
we're
it is
not-
like a really weird question to ask.
Trump supporters aren't going out.
Yeah, and it's
destroying-
mainly like the left.
But you could also, he could have just said like, listen, we're going to handle this through the process and through the courts, like, and to trust in the system,
Right, without
and don't lose faith, and we will get the correct answer, like, no matter what, like, don't despair, don't do that, yada yada yada, and just
Well, hey,
Here's a question.
Yeah.
When they asked like the riots, what Republican cities or states where the riots have been going on for multiple days?
He said Tulsa, and I think Louisville is in Kentucky, right?
somewhere in Texas, St. Worth or something Fort
But it-
Worth.
Fort
Have they
Worth.
been going on for like how long? Like as long as
No,
like Oregon and Seattle and
no,
Chicago and stuff?
no,
Well, all
no.
the analytical data will say that 97% of the protests are
93.
peaceful, and then all of the violent protests are attributed to right-leaning. No, right-leaning.
What?
That was like the whole thing that Tim Pool talked
Oh
about.
yeah. Well, they considered like Antifa, like they didn't even show up Portland on the map or something. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
So why did Chris say when Trump said that? Because Chris, he was like, "Is this really a party thing, or is this just a country thing?" And then Trump was like, "No, this is actually like a party thing. Why?" And then Chris was like, "No, you need to check your facts of like where these riots were happening."
Well,
Okay, but
probably true that it's happening in Republican cities. Just sheer,
well, if you have a high dense, minority community, it probably would make sense. Portland and Seattle are the outliers, where that is majority white cities that are having these.
No, yeah, I'm not
extended-
talking about race. I'm talking about political parties.
No, I know, but you can look at it. Kenosha, like they snuffed out those riots real quick. They did. Once they called the National Guard, shut that shit down. You didn't hear anything else about it. So like you're
maybe
gonna
Trump
see.
should have said that because the Republican cities allowed.
Yeah,
them to assist.
there's something that happened. But they say they never stated how long it went on. So like you could have had a riot in a couple riots over the span of a couple months or whatever in these cities, in these Republican cities, but what was the frequency of these riots? Like how much damage was done? How did it get classified as a riot or a civil unrest? Like there's a lot of things that must go into that, and I would be shocked to find out that a place like Tulsa, like what we don't see that on the news every day. That shit's over. They
No, I
shut it
know.
down.
I mean, it just seems like all the Democratic areas are like exploding, like New York,
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
So
Seattle.
I've been kind of just paying attention on the side here to this CBS, just about what they're showing on screen. So the first thing they did, they had a little segment, a fact-checking segment, and it was all Donald Trump. But does anybody think, it's kind of me, he attributes the deaths, the depression, and all these other issues to Trump, and the rioting, he attributes all to Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Is Joe Biden going to be criticized for that, or is he going to get away with it?
Gonna get away with it.
Because they've already established that narrative in the media that this is Trump's America, this is Trump's fault, blah blah blah, and like but the argument for them is they have to make like, well, it's how you handled the coronavirus or COVID, that's what created this effect. Like so, that's what they're going to go to, and they're not getting into a very nuanced conversation about any of this stuff. Like that's the thing. It's just there to shit sling. It's not even.
They don't care about solutions. They don't care about saving lives. It's really sick. It's fucking weird.
It is a little weird. Yeah. In general, it's weird.
Well, I guess in their eyes, they feel like they're doing the opposite, but it just seems from the outside not the case.
Well, does anybody have any? What is everybody's closing thoughts?
Trump won.
Trump won. All right, Michael. Do you think Trump won too?
No, I don't know who won. I'd have to rewatch it, but Trump 2020.
That's right, baby.
All right, Ryan. What do you think? What do you think? Who do you think won?
I don't think anyone really. Well, I think Trump was a little bit too bullish, but maybe that's kind of just how he does it, and that's how he's going to win. I think what you were saying, he needs to let Biden speak. But here's the thing: you let Biden speak, and the moderator doesn't check him, and the media is surely not going to check him. So if neither of those are going to do it, it kind of does fall on Trump to call him out on his bullshit.
No, he does have to call him out on his bullshit for sure. Maybe there's a better way to do it that is going to actually facilitate communicating the message that he's trying to communicate and get Biden on the back foot. I don't think yelling over him constantly was actually created that effect because it did. I mean, this is the weird thing about the optics of these things. Biden just looks kind of like an abused old man up there a little bit.
Yeah.
He's getting bullied by this dude.
Call him a clown.
And it just. I don't know. For me, it's hard to say. I don't even know who I think actually won or who is more effective. I don't know. I don't think either of them were very effective. I don't think either of them really made a good case for either of their platforms because that's just.
Well, I don't think it's meant to. It's a horse and pony show. This is all fun. It doesn't matter. Everybody's already made up their minds. So it's just kind of like, if you're at this point, don't know who you're voting for.
Yeah, bastard.
You know
You're
what
a
I
dumb
mean? Like,
bastard.
is there really? It's they're
No,
such
but-
polar
Well, no.
opposites, and there's nothing that is remotely
Well,
similar about them. If you don't know,
if Joe Biden had completely melted down, that might change some people's minds. If Joe
Yeah.
Biden had completely fallen apart and like had a brain aneurysm, people would have been like, "Ooh, maybe he can't."
I agree.
I think that, fresh from a nap, Joe Biden can get it done. Like he got up there. But there's got to be something said there. The undecided voters want to see some very simple things. These suburban housewives, the people that live in suburbia or on the outskirts of these cities that aren't sure, saw what? Absolutism. Joe Biden is too vague. I'm telling you, that's going to hurt him more than anything. People are sick and tired of being pandered to. They want to hear a couple things. Law and order. I'm going to fucking fix the economy. I did it before, and I'll do it again. You just got to fucking work with me. And it is, and Trump made some great points when he was like, the fucking Democrats are the reason why the Paycheck Protection Program has dried up. They won't fucking even do a skinny bill. They wouldn't even do a skinny bill that would guarantee $1,200 to more Americans.
did he say that?
And no, he didn't. But these are the bad things about these time debates and shit. It is the Democrats' fault. They're the ones that have been fighting Trump. They want $2.5 trillion. It's too much. And at the end of the day, let's fucking move on. I think it was one of those debates that it was a shit debate. Honestly, shit debate. Chris Wallace actually dropped the fucking ball. Chris Wallace didn't ask poignant questions. And the couple that he did, Trump dropped the ball, and so did Biden. And I'll be objective and honest.
I mean, when are we gonna fucking drop the climate change topic? Because it's like nobody gives a fuck. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
who really gives a shit? All the other topics are pretty interesting because it all directly affects us. And Joe Biden's gonna act like what Trump has done in the past 4 years is contributing to the weather we are having now. That's amazing. Like that.
Yep.
Is that how climate change work? I thought
because that's the talking point that's going around right now. That because this is happening, we need to talk about climate change, whether or not it's applicable or not.
But it's through decades, right? If you were to look at the science, can you affect climate in the period of a couple of years? Like, how the fuck is he allowed to say that he'll have less hurricanes and less natural disasters?
Yeah, it's kind of insane. No, it's insane. That's a crazy claim. And I mean, as far as the forest fire stuff, that's one of Trump's stronger answers. Forestation. You got to take care of these things. So the
true.
environment, and that's something that was a common sense thing that people have been talking about for decades, because there's plenty of organizations and groups that are 100% trying to get money and funding to do that. But that is like the nutty, crunchy environmentalist people have been talking about, like trying to raise money so they could do that for a long time. It's not like a new concept.
And you think if these natural disasters are inevitable because of what we're contributing to the environment, why would you not have mitigation factors? It makes no fucking sense.
I agree.
Damn, Ryan, fucking run for Congress. Let's go.
All right, everybody. All right.
Yeah. Sean's got to drive all the way to Maryland.
Well, I gotta try to find a fucking video to sync up to. So I might have to post this tomorrow. I will clip out this last our end of this and just put it up tonight before I leave, and I'll probably be working on the actual episode tomorrow from the road.
Yeah.
Because for some reason Skype decided to turn this into 2 videos, and I got to find a link where I can actually download the debate. None of them are ready to be downloaded because they just ended. So
well, you need some help.
Yeah, yeah, sure. You can go grab those videos and try to sync it up if you want. So anyways, thank you everybody. I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you made it all the way. I know you did, fuckers. And yeah, we will see you guys next week on ZooBox, the podcast about nonsense. Will be a regular episode of ZooBox. Will not be this kind of truncated. Normally, this would be something that we just do for fun, for extra, but you know how it is. Life finds a way. All right, everybody. Good night.
Bye.